Yo, 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 this your boy, the real McCoy, coming at you, man. We talking about Major League Baseball, the ALD, American League Division Series, making my prediction. We got the Kansas City Royals going to, they won the wild card, an incredible, crazy game. They won the wild card against the Oakland A's, Oakland Athletics. They going up against the LA Angels. They got the best record in all of baseball. And but that wild card game with the Oakland A's and the Kansas City Royals, that was an absolute phenomenal, crazy, great game, man. I made a video prior. I actually had the Oakland Athletics winning. I had the A's winning 3-2 because they had John Lester and James Shields on the mound, some of the best pitchers in the game. Everybody was saying that it was going to be a low-scoring game. Boy, was I wrong. Man, it was a great game, man. The commentator, I think it was Cal Ripken, the great Cal Ripken Jr., and I believe Ernie Johnson. And I forgot the other guy's name. I'm sorry for that. I forgot his name. But when the Orioles, when the Athletics took that 7-3 lead, they were saying things like, you know, the Kansas City Royals don't have anything to be upset or angry about. Hold their heads up high. They had a good year. You know, it's a building process. Haven't made the postseason since '85. They were saying things like that in like the 5th inning, and the boys started making comments. It was just crazy, man. That was a crazy game. That's the beauty of baseball and sports. Not my favorite sport, but that's postseason baseball, man. It was a wild card game, one game play-in, but it felt like it was Game 7 of the LCS. It was, the atmosphere. It was edge of your seat. It was a great game. That was a great game, man. I watched that. It was a great game, man. But congratulations to the Kansas City Royals for moving on. I had them losing. My bad. But hey, congratulations for moving on, man. That was a great. They kept fighting. They kept fighting. That's all you got. You got to fight, scratch, claw, and and you live with the results. And they won. You know, they were down 7-3. They could have just kind of laid their heads down, like we ain't been to the postseason since '85. The fans got to be okay with that. 29, almost 30 years, so, but they kept fighting. They came through and they won and they move on. So congratulations to the Royals. But now they going to LA, playing a very talented, very tough Los Angeles Angels team. The series kicks off October 2nd, 9 p.m. I believe. It's over in LA. I forgot the Angels ballpark, the name of the park. But October 2nd, 9 o'clock, it's on our TBS, the channel to be exact. The Royals got Vargas on the mound. The LA Angels got their ace, Jared Weaver, going on the mound. So it's gonna be a good series, man. These teams, the Royals and the Angels, they met 6 times in the regular season. They split 3-3, so they had a weekend series back in May, the 23rd through the 25th. It was in LA. And the Angels took 2 of 3, and they met up again in June. With another weekend series, 27th through the 29th, a 3-game set. This time at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. Congratulations to the fan. Kauffman Stadium was rocking. They came out and supported their team. They hadn't been there since '85, So, but it was cool to see Kauffman Stadium rocking, but. They had a regular season set back in May, weekend set, and that game, that series, that set, the Warriors took 2 or 3, so played 6 times, they split 3-3, and so pretty evenly matched through the regular season. But look at the Angels, they got the best record in all of Major League Baseball, 98-64. They won the AL West. This is what people have been predicting from the Angels since 2012, last year. This is what they especially got. Mike Trout came onto the scene in 2012, his rookie year. Josh Hamilton, Albert Pujols, Jared Weaver. They got David Freese now. Because the postseason magic that he can do in the 2011 World Series, I believe, with the Cardinals. So this is what people have been predicting. The quote unquote experts, have been predicting from the Angels for about 2 or 3 years now. And this could be the year. They finally, 98 wins, 64 losses, the winner of the division, best record in all of baseball. and the American League won the All-Star game. So if the Angels go all the way to the World Series, they're gonna have home field all the way through. Now I made a video prior about the whole whichever league wins the All-Star game. That's stupid. Get rid of that. You know what I mean? But you know, I've already talked about that. So, but yes, but if the further they go, they continue to have home field, and they had I think the best record at home in all of baseball, 59-29. They're tough to beat in LA. Tough to be, beautiful ballpark. I forgot the name of it. Anyway, tough to beat at home. 59-29 record at home. 46-35 on the road, which is only second best to who? The Royals. The Kansas City Royals had the best record in the American League on the road with 47-34. That was the best in the majors, and the Angels was behind them. So, you know, that's something to look at. You know what I mean? The Angels are tough at home. The Royals are tough on the road. So something's got to give, right? So that'd be cool to watch. But you know, we talk about the Angels. You got to talk about Mike Trout. You know, most people consider him the best player in the game. I couldn't disagree with that. You know, man, I believe he is. As far as, you know, being a 5'2" player, speed, power, average, arm strength, and all that good stuff. I mean, on base percentage and all that. I mean, you can't really argue with it. He burst onto the scene 2012. Could have easily won MVP and Rookie of the Year. Like I believe Ichiro Suzuki did that in 2001. I believe with the Seattle Mariners. I think the Mariners won like 116 games that year. And I believe that was the last time that was done, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I mean, but you know, Miggy won the Miguel Cabrera for the Tigers. He won the MVP that year with the Triple Crown and all that. But you know, this is Mike Trout's first time in the postseason. Josh Hamilton has played in the World Series against Albert Pujols. They're teammates now. So both of those guys have postseason and World Series experience. Albert Pujols hit 3 home runs in a World Series game. That's a very short list. Him and I forgot the guy for the Yankees that did that. I know Kung Fu Panda, Pablo Sandoval, he did it. And I guess the Detroit Tigers in Game 1 hit 3 home runs in the World Series games, which is a great, phenomenal accomplishment. But yeah, so they have that experience. This is Mike Trout's first game, first time in the postseason. So everybody's excited to see how he's gonna perform. You know, so it's a little bit different in the postseason, you know, but I don't think he's gonna, you know, flame out, you know what I mean? So, but we'll see. It's exciting to see the best player first time in the postseason and see how he's gonna play. I'm pretty sure he's just as excited as well. I mean, the only thing you can really say about Mike Trout is that he strikes out a lot. 184 strikeouts, which tied the franchise record, which was set last year by Mark Trumbo. So he does strike out a lot, and his some of his numbers have also declined as well. You know what I mean, from 2013, 2012, 2013 mainly. But he set the bar so high that he like, man, you know, it kind of, you know what I mean, it was hard to live up to that season. But he's young as ever. He's so young. So, but he kind of fell off a little bit. He's third in the American League in home runs, with I think how many he hit, with 36, I believe. He led the American League in the RBI with 111. So I guess he's a power guy now. I mean, more than, you know what I mean. So I mean, he made his first MVP this year, with the home runs and leading the major league in RBI. But the thing that's probably gonna keep him from doing that, compared to, you know, the standard that he's already set, the bar he's already raised for himself, is that, you know, last year his batting average was 323. It fell off this year down to 287. I mean, a lot of players will love to be a 287 hitter, you know. Just that for Mike Trout, you expect Mike Trout to be 300, 310, 315, 320 every year. And he kind of, you know, filled out. It seems like he went from being a steady on-base guy to now I'm going to be a power. Because there were times when he batted in a 3-hole. There's nothing wrong with that, you know what I mean? It seems like he's turning into more of a power guy. Then, you know what I mean? So that's fine, you know. Then Miguel Cabrera, who can hit for power and average, you know. So he fell down to 287, which isn't horrible, But it's, you know, a little slip for Mike Trout standard, you know. So, and plus his on base percentage was 432 last year. His OBP this year went down to 377. A lot of guys would love to have a 377 OBP, but for Mike Trout standard, for the bar that he set for himself, he fell off a little bit. I mean, a lot of that was, I think he struck out a lot. He was swinging at pitches, trying to drive in runs, trying to be that guy, which we all know he's more than capable of being and doing. But I just, you know what I mean, I just think that kind of hurt him, just him individually, not the team. He got the best record in baseball, you know what I mean? But as far as him individually, because he was my MVP prediction coming into the season, you know, and he may get that, you know, he may get that. I just think those two numbers, the batting average, a lot of people don't look at the batting average, look at the OBP. And if they look at his OBP at 377, they may give him the MVP. So who knows? But anyway, you know, moving on. I mean, the Angels had a very good offensive year. They weren't as dominant as the World Series champ last year, the Boston Red Sox. I mean, their offense last year was phenomenal. it was phenomenal. But I mean, the Angels, they did lead all of Major League Baseball with 4.77 runs a game. That's almost 5. I mean, he's scoring almost 5 runs a game. You're gonna win a lot of games, which they did. But the Royals, you know, they were 14th, you know, 4.05. Not horrible, not great, middle of the pack, you know what I mean. But they showed in the wild card game that they score runs a lot differently than the way the Angels score runs. You know, the Royals have to manufacture their runs. Kind of say, I've said in plenty of videos prior, I'm a Tampa Bay Rays fan, and I'm used to my Rays. That's how we manufacture runs. Bunt a guy over, steal a base, go from first to third, second at home, tag up, take chances, take risks, because we don't have that power. You know what I mean? We hit the 3-run home run. We can hit the bases loaded, hit the ball into the gap, drive all the runs. You know what I mean? We don't have that, especially on a consistent basis. We just don't have it. So you gotta steal bags, take chances, like what Jared Dyson did, I believe in the 12th inning or the 11th inning. Maybe it was the 12th of the wild card game. He stole third with less than 1 out. You know, with less than 2 outs. I mean, so risky. You know, risky, but that's what you have to do. You gotta, you know, because the Kansas City Royals were the worst team, I believe, in all of baseball, but at least in the American League, as far as team home runs, they only hit 95. That was, I mean, that's not a lot at all. So they have to do what they have to do to score runs, and they seem to be doing pretty well. They made it this thus far. You know what I mean? So, but that's one thing they have to. The team score runs in different ways. You know, do what you got to do. You do what your roster tells you and allows you to do. You know, not everybody's the same. You know, so, but the Royals, they led Major League Baseball with 0.98 steals per game, and that was obvious because they had 7 different players in the wild card game stole the base against the Oakland Athletics. 7. First of all, it's already crazy just to steal 7 bags in a game, period. But they had 7 different players to steal a bag. That's impressive. That's impressive. You see why they lead the majors with 0.98 steals a game. I mean, it makes sense. That's how they score their runs. But 7 different players. That's incredible. That was impressive. That was impressive, man. That was fun to watch. I mean, if you're doing that, you're constantly putting pressure on the defense. And it made a difference because on Oakland Athletics catcher Giovanni Soto, he hurt his thumb, and what's his name? Derek Norris, the backup catcher, came in, and the Royals just started running wild. And you can tell that Derek Norris, he's not the best at, you know, some of his throws from a home plate to second, trying to throw runners out. They were flailing, falling off to the right. Not a lot of arm strength, not a lot of accuracy there. Something that, you know, he definitely needs to improve on, but that's why he's a backup catcher. And they just started running wild. Now the throw he made to third base to Josh Donaldson to tag out Jared Dyson was a good solid throw. But no, Jared Dyson, you know, his speed, his jump he had off I believe was it Lester. I mean, a lot of guys steal a lot of bags off John Lester. You know, he doesn't really, for a lefty, he doesn't have like a is it not Jake? Like a Mark Burley, the lefty. He has a great pickoff move to first base. That's for John Lester just doesn't have that. You know, so they took advantage of it. They took advantage of that. They took advantage of a backup catcher who doesn't have the best, you know, throwing strength, power, and accuracy to the bases, and they started running wild. And plus, that's what the Royals do best, you know, and the numbers bear that out. So that was definitely impressive to watch, and you know what I mean. So I mean, that's what they do. They steal bags, and that's how they get runs, because they only hit 95 home runs as a team, which was the lowest, I believe, in at least in the American League. I don't know about the majors. I think it may have been the lowest in the majors. It's only 95 team home runs, so they didn't hit that many home runs. So that's how you got to score runs. And you know what I mean. So then if you go back to the Angels, you know, I'm looking at some of their numbers as far as run differential. They're second in Major League Baseball with a plus 143 run differential. A plus 143 run differential. I mean, that's crazy. They scored. That's crazy, man. 143. They were blowing people out. You scoring almost 5 runs, and you probably only giving up 1 or 2. Are you scoring 10 and giving up 3 or 4? I mean, come on. That's impressive. You look at the Royals, their run differential was plus 28. You know what I mean? Plus 28 compared to 143. Wow. And you have a dominant offense. You know, a dominant offense. Not just pretty good, but dominant. So, maybe looking at the Royals 28, I'm not saying that's pedestrian, you know what I mean, dismal, thing like that. Just a huge gap. That's a huge gap, and one of the reasons why, you know, this is going to be a tough series for the Royals. It's going to be a tough, I mean, they have that, you know, resilience. They showed that in the wild card game. They keep fighting. You know, Eric Hosmer hit that huge triple, the 1-out triple, you know, off the left center wall. Coco Chris had went out with a hamstring injury, so they moved. The Oakland Athletics moved Sam Fold from left field to right field, and they brought in the veteran Johnny Gomes, and they kind of ran into each other. The ball was off the wall anyway, so they wouldn't have called it. It almost went out of the park, but they keep fighting. They keep fighting. That's what they do. So I mean, that was pretty cool to watch. But it's going to be a tough series for the Royals. I mean, so, but you know, but the Royals, I mean, they're 10th in Major League Baseball in team ERA with a 3.53. The Angels were 13th with a 3.58. You know what I mean? Almost kind of the same, basically different. I mean, equal out. But the one advantage, in my opinion, that the Royals clearly have is the bullpen. I mean, the Royals arguably have the best bullpen in all of baseball, at least in the American League. You've got, you know, Greg Holland, he's closing it, shutting it down. Wade Davis, you know what I mean, he got traded away from a Rays. Him and James Shields, we got Will Myers in return. You know, he has starter potential, but they used him as a setup man in the 8th, and he had a phenomenal year. I believe he came in against the A's. I think he had, I think it was 2 strikeouts. I think he had 2 strikeouts, and he pitched the inning. I mean, very dominant year he had. And then you got I think they're using Danny Duffy now. He's in the bullpen. You know, he's a starter. But the guy that impressed me the most was everybody's still talking about is Brandon Finnegan. You know, he was the commentators were saying, you know, the Cal Ripken Jr. was the commentator, I believe, and Ernie Johnson, I forget the other guy's name, but they were saying that Brandon Finnegan was pitching in the college world. I mean, I don't really follow college baseball. He was pitching in the college baseball back in June, I believe, and now he's pitching in the American League wild card game, do or die situation. We're gonna go on here. I think he pitched 2 innings. The moment wasn't too big for him. He was going attacking the strike zone, pitching like 95, 96. I mean, he was alive. He impressed. I'm like, whoa, who is this Brandon Finnegan guy? Add this to already very good bullpen. Like, man, if the Angels are down, the Royals bullpen, they're shutting it down. That guy. So we're definitely gonna see Brandon Finnegan again. I mean, I'm pretty sure Ned Yost is gonna use him. I mean, you have to. strike zone, very aggressive, good live arm, you know, good power fastball. So we definitely gonna be seeing Brandon Finnegan, no doubt about that. He could be a possible closer down the road for the Royals, you know what I mean? So very good. And the thing that about this series that's gonna stand out, I believe, is that the Royals and the way the Royals and the Angels score runs is completely different. The Royals have to fight, scratch, claw to get their runs, steal bases, bunt guys over, be aggressive on the bases, take those chances. Like in the bottom of the first, when Billy Butler's on first, and I believe was it Eric Hosmer or Moustakas on third, and Billy Butler was trying to take off from first to second to make John Lester step off, because you got to step off first, step off behind the mound, and then turn, or it's a balk. I mean, it's a balk. It's a balk, you know what I mean? So, and they was trying to get a rundown, and the guy was going to run from third to home and steal home, but he took off too early, and it was an ugly play. It was ugly. But that's what they have to do. They have to put the pressure on the defense, and sometimes put the pressure on themselves to run themselves out of an inning, out of a scoring, a possibility. But that's what they have to do, and they've been successful at it so far. They made it this far. So, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Whereas the Angels, they score their runs with home runs. More traditional, stealing bases, driving guys in, the 3-run home run, the 2-run home run, the 2-run double, things like that. I mean, you got the Josh Hamiltons and the Mike Trouts and the Albert Pujols, Eric Aybar, Derek Freese. He struggled last year in the postseason, but he has that postseason magic there, and that's how, they're more traditional on how they score their runs. They're gonna score the runs. The Royals got to fight, scratch, claw. Just different ways of doing it. But both teams are very good at what they do. That's what was gonna make this series interesting, in my opinion. They're both very good at what they do. But I do, as far as picking a winner, I do have the Angels winning. I do have the Angels moving on to the ALCS. I think it'll be a very good, competitive four-game series. I don't think it's gonna go 5. I didn't want to say sweep. I don't think the Angels are gonna sweep the Royals. I think it's gonna be a competitive 4-game series. The Angels are gonna have to go out there and earn it. So I just think the way that the Angels are able to score runs compared to the way the Royals score runs, it's kind of like Tampa Bay Rays. This series kind of remind me, if you go back and look at the ALDS last year with the Red Sox and the Rays, how the teams were able to get their runs. One team was getting that extra key base hit, that double, that triple, that big poppy home run of David Price in game 1, to where with my Rays, we gotta bunt, we gotta steal a base, we gotta go first to third, second at home, we gotta take a chance. Think if a ball is hit into the gap, but it doesn't go all the way to the wall, can a guy turn that into a double? Is a guy going to take a risk and go first all the way to home? Things like that. And, it was a clear, and I can say dominant 4-game series for the Red Sox over my Rays, but it was clear who was the better team. And that's what this series reminds me of. I think it's going to be a 4-game set. I think you're clearly going to see, in my opinion, that, which team is clearly better. And I think the Angels are a clearly better team than the Royals. That's just what it is. And most of the numbers bear that out. But it's going to be interesting to see, because the way that both teams score runs. Can the Royals keep up that magic that they did in the wild card game, which was impressive? Can they keep that up? And you can't count on that. There's just no way. I don't think so. But like I've said before, in a video I made before, and if you're into the superstition and all that stuff, the last time the Royals made the postseason was 1985. But they did win the World Series in 1985. They beat the Cardinals in 7 games. They beat the Cardinals in 7 games, and Game 7 was a blowout. They won 11-0. So I mean, if you're looking at that, if you keep that going, we haven't made it in almost 30 years. But the last time we made it, we won it all. So who knows? They can keep that, the rally monkey on, the rally hats. You know what I mean? Rally monkey, keep that going and believe in that. And who knows? Ride that wave, man. The fans deserve it in Kansas City. I mean, I really didn't like Ned Yost calling them out a few weeks back, about a month, 2 months ago, something like that. But 85 is a long time, man. So they deserve it, man. But I do have the Angels moving on to the ALCS. I think it's going to be a 4-game series. I mean, a good 4 games. I think some of the games, you know what I mean, the Angels may run away from them a little bit. You know what I mean? I think the game that the Royals win, they're going to have to fight to win that one game that they win. But I don't think the Angels are going to sweep them. But I do think it's going to be a clear-cut 4-game winner. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So it's going to be clear who's the better team. I have the Angels moving on. So that's what I think. Those are my thoughts. You know what I mean? Leave your comments. Leave me what you guys think about the series. You know, who you got winning. Like, subscribe, whatever, all that good stuff that you guys do. Tell me what you guys think, man. That's all I got, man. It's your boy, the Real McCoy, man. I'm out. Peace.